Amen. So here now my thoughts for Shabbat, which have a connection to our parasha. And just wait a second and you will see how I made the connection. Because yesterday I had a long discussion with my lead chaplain at St. Helier's. We spoke about many things, as we haven't spoken for a long while with all the holidays behind us and our busy schedules ahead of us. Every time we come together, we also chat about the different religious practices and rituals that we cherish and that we live, especially under the magnifying glass of the chaplaincy work in a hospital. We have found many things that are quite similar when we look at our traditions. Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, and so many more are not that different when it comes, for example, to moments of loss and death. This week, I found our discussion hit some chords within me, as also our Torah portion for this week is describing the unsettling story of the death of Nadav and Avihu. Of course, it is worth to look at what they have done and why they had to die. But in light of our discussion, I have been puzzled by the report of Aaron's silence in the story. In Leviticus 10, it says, "And Aaron was silent." Full stop. After the death of his sons Nadav and Avihu, he does not speak. He does not offer a complaint against God. He does not raise his voice in understandable and justifiable anger. Instead, he is silent. And while I do not believe anyone should criticize a mourner or suggesting that one emotion is better than another, I'm perplexed by silence. Stoicism in the face of grief seems misplaced. It is not a sign of strength to hold back tears and be strong for others, I feel. Tears and sobbing, complaint and even anger are greater testaments to strength than the withholding of emotions, if you ask me. Or, if silence is appropriate, it should instead be worn by those offering comfort to the mourners. Too often, well-meaning friends attempts to soothe the pain and grief of friends with inappropriate words. Clichés like, "You have to be strong," or "You will get over it," or even, "He is in a better place," or "At least she is no longer in pain," are actually not helpful. I know it is very difficult to find the right words, and I admit I have said wrong words at the wrong time too, even too often. I'm not judging, I'm sharing. One thing that both the pastoral work here in our congregation and in the chaplaincy has taught me is that practicing silence is a good solution when we don't know what to say. Listen, offer a hug. We can do that now again. Be present. Stand alongside your friend. Accept the silence, however awkward it might appear. Affirm your friend's pain. Don't rush in with words. Even the most well-chosen words can indeed fall short. The rabbis suggest that Aaron's silence indicates his acceptance of God's judgment. I'm not so sure. I feel there's another dimension to Aaron's silence. In Judaism, we know how much power words can have. A whole world can be created with a single word. So, when someone just lost their child, partner, friend, perhaps there is not yet the right time to create something new. Perhaps their silence is a form of protest and not acceptance. Perhaps not saying a word is an act of bravery, of resistance, not accepting the new reality that will start with breaking the silence. Sometimes the void, the pain, the loss needs to be there. Next week, the Jewish world marks Yom HaShoah on Monday evening and Tuesday. And we will pause in our remembrance service for a moment of silence. We will stand still. We will listen to the void, to the lost voices of those who died in the Holocaust. So, perhaps in our silence will be also our protest, our outcry to God. Listening to Aaron's silence right now, I actually can find some comfort in it. My colleague suggested that I should perhaps try to go on a silent retreat, for my next sabbatical, as so many rabbis, ministers, chaplains, and so forth do when they have a time off. You, I think, will all agree, I don't think that this is something for me. But I agree that keeping and holding up the silence can be as powerful as breaking it. Shabbat Shalom.